Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Aurora Stefrak, and here I am with Translucent Truth Yoga to deliver you the weekly intuitive energy update for the week of December 20th, 2021. So, I guess welcome. Let's start with welcome. If you're new here, welcome. And if you have been here before, welcome back. And then this leads me into the timeless reading. Okay, so basically the way that these energy updates work is that they are timeless. And so that means that you can catch this video anytime after it's been recorded. I've just recorded it for this week to basically anchor in the frequencies for this week, but the universe works on resonance. And so whatever it is that you're needing, that you're asking of the universe, of your higher self, of your guides, then this could be the perfect video for you down the road. So if you found this and it's past this week, just trust that there are messages in here for you and that you will resonate with some of the stuff in here. So just keep an open mind, keep an open heart, and really just listen. Listen for what it is that you've been needing to hear lately, okay? So I just want to start by explaining how the last 15 minutes has gone trying to get ready for this video, okay? This is a perfect analogy for what the fuck the energy is right now, okay? All I wanted to do was wear one of my necklaces, but last time I took them off and then I put them in my pocket and then I did all this stuff and now I can't seem to figure it out, okay? Oh, wow. Okay, I swear to God, I was trying to do it for forever, okay? So maybe I just needed to be on camera. I don't know. But anyway, the whole point of me showing you guys this is because, seriously, everything that can go wrong will go wrong, okay? And this is testing us. This is testing us huge. I can't believe how easy this is coming apart now. I, seriously just spent so much time trying to figure it out. Okay, so I guess just because I needed to show you the analogy. Because look, now I just got it all apart. But anyway. So, literally, I couldn't. And I was literally, getting mad because I couldn't freaking get them apart. And now they're apart. So that's so bizarre. So I guess that's the whole point of the energy as well. Is that you have to anchor in your patience. You have to anchor in... Use all the tools in your tool belt, spiritually or personal development wise, or just, whatever it is that you know how to move through these really intense energies, because it's happening. Okay, so we're in it. We're in the thick of it. I'm gonna touch on the solstice. The solstice is this week. We also just had that Gemini full moon. It's been a ride, okay, and we're all feeling it, okay? This is a huge collective activation right now. So yeah, it's so funny. Okay, the universe, I tell you. So anyway, this whole necklace thing was just, okay, the other day I just had one bad thing after the next. It just kept happening. It was just holy fuck, am I gonna catch a break or what? And the universe is like, ha ha ha, you're so cute, little human. And I was like, holy crow. So what do? I connect to my breath. I slow down. I listen to what I need. I ask. I prioritize. I refocus. I do everything in my power to shift this energy, or to basically sometimes just be in the energy. I surrendered to these necklaces, and now here on camera I just took them all apart. So that's a really great analogy for just, when something isn't working, just let it go, leave it for a minute and come back to it. And then when you come back to it, you'll have this new energy with you to be able to untangle whatever it is that you're trying to untangle. Okay, I have a lot that is going to come through. I'm just going to play my bowls real quick to anchor in my energy, and then I'm just going to get to it. I'll call in your higher selves, your guides, all of our guides and beings that are here to support us. So, yeah, I'm just going to have a sip of water too. I'm really thirsty. Okay. So... here we go. If you want to join me, you can find a nice comfortable position. upright, sitting, or laying down. But what I would like you to do is just close your eyes, connect to your breath, feel the inhale, feel the expansion of your chest, and then on the exhale, feel the drop of your chest and the air leave your body. And just keep bringing your awareness to your breath and your chest and the rise and the fall. And visualize a bubble of protection around your body now, of white light all around you, with a mirror protection, with the mirror facing out, so that everything that gets sent your way energetically gets sent back to the sender. This is not tenfold, this is just back to sender, so that they can learn their lesson from what they've sent to you. Okay, don't forget to connect to that breath. And now that we have this protection around us, we're going to call in Archangel Raphael to fill the bubble with healing energy, with green heart healing energy. And breathe in that energy with every breath. With every breath that you take, you're pulling in the light energy that is all around you, that is available to you now, especially right now. You now have a protection around you that sends all energies back to sender. And that protection is now imbued with a beautiful healing frequency. And you can do this technique anytime that you need protection. Call in Archangel Raphael, the healer. Call in Archangel Michael, the protector. And if you really want to, you can call in Archangel Metatron, and he will help you understand. He's spiritual understanding. So he will help you make sense of it all. Okay, take one more breath in. And on your exhale, just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, wiggle your body, move your head back and forth. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Or you can just listen. You can just stay where you are and listen. Alright. Welcome back. Okay, guys, so the first thing that I really want to talk about this week is heart healing, okay? So I'm going to actually backtrack to Saturday, the full moon in Gemini, and this has caused a lot of emotional turmoil, okay? And this is because we suppress things. We don't deal with things. And this is not a bad thing necessarily. It is actually a defense mechanism and a coping mechanism so that we're able to move forward in our lives. But the thing is that the more that we suppress things, it has to come up eventually, okay? So when we have certain astrological alignments, with this full moon being one, we just came out of eclipse season as well, and now we are entering into the solstice energy. It's a big purge. It's a really big emotional purge. And the reason that this is all happening right now is because we are being activated into the new earth templates, the higher consciousness templates, the source consciousness, Christ consciousness, crystalline grid, whatever word you want to put on it. It is this higher consciousness that we are like getting access to, and not just like someone like me or someone that is into this and that has studied this and that has gone deep into consciousness and spirituality, but everybody is being activated into this. So if you don't have the tools to be able to process the emotions mentally as well, to be able to break through these mind patterns and these paradigm shifts, it's really, really, really important to reach out for help and to ask people and to learn the tools that do help us evolve on our path, right? Some things that you could look into, shadow work being one umbrella term, where you go into your subconscious mind, you go into your shadow, into the parts of yourselves that are suppressed, that you maybe are embarrassed of or ashamed of, and you just acknowledge it. You just acknowledge it, and you hold space for yourself in that, and you accept it, and you surrender, and you realize that whatever this thing is that is blocking you, that is holding space in your field, it's not bad. It's not negative. It's just something that you don't want to acknowledge. So shadow work is a really, really, really important and potent and powerful tool right now to use. Okay, so you can do this through journal work, through journaling and writing things down. I highly recommend that. That is a really, 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 really powerful tool to help us to process a lot of our stuff. You can even just do meditations. You can, learn to create that space. That's what the meditation is going to allow. It is going to help you to basically get out of your head space, drop into your heart space, and to create a space to teach you how to hold space, okay? And what is holding space? Holding space is just allowing without judgment. It is just simply allowing without judgment, and just being. Just being, which most of us don't really know how to do, right? Which a lot of people that are on this healing path have really spent a lot of time learning how to slow down, how to listen to our intuition, how to listen to our body. All of these things are ways that we can be more in tune with ourselves, okay? And now, of course, if you are new to this journey and you haven't done a lot of like self-development work, or really like clearing out your own gutters, then it feels like a lot at first, because it is a lot. But the more work that you do, the more consistency and the more persistent that you are in coming back to yourself, creating that space for yourself, listening to yourself, taking care of yourself, all of these things, the easier it gets, okay? So you may be out of alignment with who you truly are, and so you may be like all the way over here when you're trying to be here, and you're like, holy fuck, how the fuck am I supposed to, like, who the fuck even am I? What do you mean? Like, oh my god, like, that is way too much, right? And it's like one step at a time. And this is where before I was Translucent Truth Yoga, I thought I was going to be high vibrational healing with Aurora, and I wanted to coin this term because the way that I was introduced to healing was like a very like digging approach. Like, let me find it, let me see what's wrong with me, let me keep going and keep going and keep going. And I was like, when the fuck does this shit end? Like, when do I get to enjoy myself? Like, when am I healed? Like, when do I get to be healed, right? Like, how, like, this can go on forever, right? And so what high vibrational healing really is learning how to create the space and listening to what it is that surfaces, because you will have certain things come up naturally. You don't have to keep digging and digging and digging. Now, it's okay to dig sometimes, but, if we are present in each moment and we can learn to hear our thought forms, hear our emotions, hear our body's wisdom, then we are able to transmute that a lot quicker, right? And so really the practice is learning how to listen and learning how to connect to our own innate wisdom and stop looking out there for answers, because if you're looking into the external world for answers, it is only going to cause more confusion, because there's so much diversity and chaos. That's why we're really being guided to go inside right now. Like, go inside your own heart, go inside your own consciousness and see what it is that's stopping you from really being who you are, okay? Your true, authentic self. And in order for us to embody our true authentic self, we have to learn to be our true authentic self in each moment, right? And so, like, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling fucking irate, you know, like, you need to acknowledge that instead of acting like you're not, because it's only going to cause more problems, right? So that is like the first thing that, you know, came through for this week, and this is coming from last week as well. And I posted a video on Friday about my heart, and just, I was in a really tender place, and I wanted to come on and show you guys, like, hey, yo, like, this is my life too, right? Like, I'm right here with you guys, going through all of it, feeling the emotions, feeling everything coming up at once, and like everything going wrong, like everything that could possibly go wrong. Like, I got out of my car after getting here. I got here, the toilet was fucking overflowing. It was a whole shit show. I had to go buy a plunger. I got back to the store, and then I grabbed my coffee to go get out, and I dumped it all over me. And I was just like, oh my God, like, somebody save me. But you know what I did? I used the tools in my tool belt. I fucking sat my shit on the ground outside for a minute, and I breathed. Like, that is my tool in that moment, is my breath. Is just like to calm myself down, to realize, you know, like, if I keep this energy of rah, I am just going to cause more problems, okay? Like, if you do not stop yourself and redirect your energy, you will have the whole day in that energy. It is your choice to transmute that and to alchemize that into learning and wisdom, and saying, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna breathe. Like, you know, that's all I can do right now. That is my power, is my breath right now. And, you know, that's a way that we can really, like, you always have your breath, right? If you're alive, you're breathing. So you always have your breath with you. So that's a really, really good tool to have. So as things are happening this week, have the awareness that you're going to be tested a lot, okay? And the reason that you're going to be tested a lot is because of the big shifts that are coming for the collective, okay? We just came out of, like I said, that eclipse season, and now we just had this Gemini full moon, and now we are entering into the solstice energy, okay? So the Gemini full moon has been preparing us for the solstice energy, because this solstice is going to, it's a complete reset. And I know I say this all the time, but it really is. Like, it is a complete reset. We are entering into a new year. We are ending the old. We are now in the midst of the whole pandemic stuff going on. Truth will be surfacing. Media outlets, like, everything, wherever there is not truth, it will be burned, basically. Phoenix rising from the ashes. You have to burn it all down for it to be renewed, okay? And so, and this will happen naturally. Like, whatever is meant to happen is going to happen, okay? So if you're really worried about the world and the state of the world, all I can say is that we have no power in that. We have no control in what is going on there. So use your wisdom instead, and choose to stand in your power and where it is that you do have power in your world. Because if you watch the news and then go into the world, what's showing up on the news is nothing like the real world, okay? Like when I go out into the world, like shit seems fine, you know? Like people aren't freaking out, people aren't, you know, it's just like, oh cool, everyone's just living their lives, you know? So don't allow the fear to seep into you, okay? So really that's why when I started and I did that protection bubble for everybody watching and we filled it with the healing energy, this is a technique that you can use to protect yourself when you go out into the world, because we are just energetic beings in a sea of energy, and so we pick up energy as we're living our lives, right? And so if you go into the grocery store and then you pass somebody who's on the phone with their partner and they're freaking out and whatever, and you just don't even realize, but you pick up their energy as you walk by, and then you can carry that energy throughout your day and you don't even know, but now you're irritated and you don't know what's happening and you're pissy and whatever, right? You're going into this downward spiral and you don't know why, and you could have picked it up from somebody that was at the grocery store, right? Or wherever you are. Yeah, so really have that awareness of like, whose energy are you carrying? Whose feelings are you feeling? Whose thoughts are you thinking? You know, we're really going deep into our consciousness and deep into our heart and our psyche, okay? Because the way that we perceive reality is the reality that we experience, right? And so when we realize that our beliefs and our emotions that we keep unconsciously feeling and going through is what's running our lives, then we can realize that's where our power is, and we can learn to shift out of out of the lower patterns that we are used to, right? Okay, so wow, that was my first point. Heart healing. So suppressed emotions coming to the surface, right? So if this is how you have been feeling, then instead of beating yourself up, like give yourself the space and time to feel what you need to feel, okay? And then I have relationships as well for heart healing, okay? Because there's going to be some huge upgrades, because if we're doing all this work internally, then naturally our relationships are going to shift. Because if you're, you know, consciously working on yourself and people around you are not, that means you're learning how to create boundaries. You're learning how to speak your truth. You're learning how to trust your intuition. And if people around you are still living those same patterns, which by the way, you'll actually activate them to up level, but you may have to experience that contrast, that like pull, that resistance to want to change. And that will trigger a whole bunch more emotions in you, right? And so really pay attention, like, is it this time for me to let go of this, or is there still a purpose for this relationship, right? And when you can really just get raw, real, and honest with yourself, like don't even worry about like anyone else. What is it that is good for you? And come to this place. That's why we're creating space, okay? So I guess the theme this week is creating space, okay? So create that space so that you're able to access these parts of yourself, okay? The true, authentic versions, okay? So yeah, relationship dynamics are going to be shifting a lot as we heal our heart, right? Because we are going to be raising our standards of love, okay? True unconditional love with healthy boundaries. I think, was that last week that I talked about that? Yeah, I think it was. Redefining unconditional love with having healthy boundaries, right? But if in order for you to have healthy boundaries, like you need to know the boundaries, like you need to know the parameters, you need to know like what it is that you resonate with and what you don't, right? Okay, cool. And then the next thing I have is expansion and contraction. And what I really want to get across this week is like the ebbs and flows of life, okay? So basically, like we live in duality and polarity. So we're going to have the up and we're going to have the down. We're going to have the black, we're going to have the white. We're going to have the left, we're going to have the right, okay? So this duality and polarity of expansion and contraction, they work in a way of cycles, right? Of cycles. So we basically, when we are in our shit, we call it the contraction, okay? And that's like the yin energy. That's like going within ourselves. And they call this in the yogic tradition pratyahara, okay? And that means withdrawal of the senses. So you go within and you learn to navigate the internal realms, okay? And so that is the contraction. So if you're in your shit and you're like, what the fuck is going on? You're being asked to go within. You're being asked to ask the questions. You're being asked to connect to yourself, okay? And so in that contraction, that's where you want to use those tools of, shadow work. Oh, I didn't even explain any other ones. So there's inner child work as well that you can do. That's a really, really, really common one for a lot of people to do. You do the inner child work, and then once you can really anchor in that and connecting to your inner child, because that's your truest, most authentic self, right? And then you can expand beyond that and go into the mother and the father archetype as well. So how do you parent your inner child, right? Like, how do you take care of your inner child? So within that contraction, that's where you go within, and that's where you journal, and that's where you really start asking the questions of like, what the fuck is going on? That's when you learn about things, right? And then the expansion is the result of the contraction. Okay, so as deep as we go within is as far as we can expand. Because if you're not going that deep within, then your expansion just won't be as deep, right? Like, because you only did that much work, right? Like, you only went that far, which means you can only expand that far. So the deeper within yourself that you go, the farther out that you're able to grow and expand, right? So I just really wanted to bring that awareness to you guys, that as you're going through all of this, surrender to where you're at. Are you in the contraction or are you in the expansion? Are you in your shit or are you enjoying the fruits of your labor, right? And it's like the breath, right? The contraction is the inhale, the expansion is the exhale, right? And so coming back and forth, okay? And so that is just a continual cycle that happens over and over again. And so catching where you are at in that cycle will really help you to process and go through the harder, more difficult times, right? Okay, and then like when we're in this contraction energy, we're being guided and asked to connect to source, like connect to, I have source, love, and spiritual guides. So whatever words you want to put on it, but connect to the light within you. What is that voice telling you? There's a voice in your heart that speaks to you, that has the wisdom of the universe right here. And so when we can like connect our ear chakras to our heart, then we're able to listen to our heart. And then once we can connect that, it activates our truth center so that we're able to speak our truth from our heart, right? And then once we can speak our truth from our heart, we start to see the world differently, okay? And so when you're connecting to source, to the universal life force energy, you have to learn to open up your crown chakra, okay? Which is right here on the top of your head. And so this is your connection to source. So when I was very depressed, I used to feel like there was an immense pressure on my head, and like I used to explain it like I feel like my brain is being juiced, okay? And so what that was happening was that energetically I actually was depressed, like literally, like my crown chakra was so closed that I had no energy coming and going. So then what happens is you get a buildup of energy, and then it all just stays right here. So when we learn to open up our crown chakra to the universal energies, then we can create this beautiful connection to source, to the universe, and then we're just the conduit for that energy. We become the conduit for that energy to work through us, and that's when we can learn to hear our spirit guides, to connect our intuition more, to really hear the guidance of the universe, right? And to allow that to flow through you. So as you're in this contraction energy, I really urge you to open your crown chakra to source, to love, to your spirit guides, to your soul, to your higher self, to whatever word you want to put on it, whatever you're guided to ask for. The archangels, maybe you work with the fairies, maybe you work with the dragons. I have no idea, but listen and you will be guided, okay? Yeah, so when you're in that contraction, connect to source, love, and spiritual guides, okay? So open up that crown chakra so that you're able to access universal energy, the universal life force energy. Okay, and then I have synchronicities heightened, okay? Because we are learning how to connect to the universal flow and energy, we will have more synchronicities happening, okay? And which just means like right place, right time, okay? So you just happen to be in this moment at the right moment and something amazing happened. Or it's like, wow, I had no idea how that was gonna happen, and then poof, just like that, something amazing happened, right? Like, or maybe it's like someone on a spiritual level, like a soul connection that you're like, whoa, I feel like I've known you forever and we just met yesterday, right? Like, there's going to be a lot of synchronicities that are coming, and that's why it's so important to, one, open up your crown to the life force energy flowing, and to listen, because you won't see the synchronicities if you're not listening, okay? So you have to listen in order to actually see it, okay? And acknowledge it and to catch it, right? Synchronicities could mean that you're seeing a lot of numbers. So it could be like 111, 222, 1111, 911, 711, I don't know, 42, whatever numbers that you vibe with, that you see over and over again. Have that awareness. Like, it could show up on like a license plate, on a phone number, on an address, on a receipt, on many different things. And this is the way that the universe can directly communicate with us, because we live in a holographic binary universe. And what that means, everything is just numbers. It's all just numbers. So that is the most direct way that you can communicate with the universe, is through numbers. And so you create a dialogue with the universe, with source, and you learn what each thing means, right? So like 111, just Google like, what does 111 mean spiritually, or you can look into the numerology of 111, or people like to also call them angel numbers, right? So whatever route that you take to learn about this new language of the universe, you're being highly urged, because those are your breadcrumbs that the universe is leaving for you to follow, for you to like understand and have direction, and to be able to trust that and move forward when you see those numbers and understand. And sometimes I just laugh with the universe because it's just so funny, right? I used to see it so much that like I just took it for granted, and I was like, oh, okay, universe, you're just being stupid, you know, like, come on. And the universe is witty. So what the universe did was showed me everything 1 minute off. So instead of seeing 111, I would see 112. Instead of seeing 222, I would see 223. Instead of seeing, you get the point, 1111, I'd see 1112, right? And then I start laughing even more, because I'm like, seriously, universe? Like, honestly, like, you are something. But then it taught me, oh wow, no, I really am in alignment. I really am. Like, this is really the universe showing me how in alignment I am, right? So again, you have your own life path, so you will learn however you need to learn, but take note of the synchronicities that are happening in your life. Okay, so the next thing I have is slow down and listen to your body's wisdom, okay? And I've already touched on that a little bit. And so if you're exhausted, rest. okay? Like, you don't need to be do. Now, of course, you probably have responsibilities and a life and everything, but give yourself that space. Give yourself that time. If you need to rest, if you need to have a nap, if you need to go to bed at 7 o'clock, do it, okay? Because right now we are being blasted with energy, and so it exhausts our body. Like, when we're upgrading, when we're healing, it takes our energy. And so if we're not eating properly, if we're not drinking enough water, if we're not sleeping enough, if we're not exercising, if we're not taking care of our physical vessel and our mental and our emotional vessel, I mean, you're going to get hit like a ton of bricks right now, okay? Because you're just not taking care of yourself. And so then it will be very obvious, okay? So that's just how the universe works, is that, like, and you're not listening, right? Like, because if you were, then you would be, you know, eating properly. And I'm not saying, like, we go through ebbs and flows, right? Like, the expansion and the contraction. So, if you're not eating properly, like, don't beat yourself up about it. Just start eating properly. Say, okay, I'm gonna make a more conscious decision to, instead of eat pizza today, I'm gonna eat, you know, I'm gonna cook a meal, bring it to work, have my apple, have my orange, whatever. Drink a tea instead of coffee, whatever. Like, it's just small little things, and you fall off and you come back, right? Like, there's no judgment in it. Yeah, so learn to slow down and listen to your body's wisdom. That is the main message this week, because when we talk about our intuition and our heart healing and all of this stuff, and our emotions, this is all the wisdom of our body, and this is all the divine feminine as well. So we are being activated. Our divine feminine is being activated. We've really done a lot of work activating the masculine this year, and now that the masculine is more activated, we're able to allow the feminine to fly high. Okay. Whoo! Wow, I didn't expect any of this. Well, I mean, I have my 4 points, but 36 minutes later. Drink lots of water this week. Also, the more purging that you do, the more water you need to drink, because water helps it all to flush out of your system, okay? Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so now I'm going to get into the winter solstice. This is a doozy, guys. It's all good. It's all good. But in order for us to reach the light, we have to go through the darkness. We have to go through our shadow, right? And then within the shadow, there is light, right? And that's the whole thing, is that nothing is actually bad, right? It's just the perception of it, right? So let's see, guys. The winter solstice is December 21st, 2021, okay? So we have 12/21, 2021. Numerologically, this equates to an 11, and in order to get that number, we just do a little bit of math. It's very simple. You just add up these numbers, and there we have the 11. Okay, well, the 11 is a master number, okay? 11, 33, or 11, 22, 33 are master numbers. And 11, my life path is actually an 11. 11 is all about intuition. Okay, so our intuition's being activated this solstice, and so that's why we're really getting this purging of our emotional body. Like, our heart is really, like, aching to feel love, okay? And then that is going to trigger us to listen, to slow down, to connect to our body's wisdom, and then we can take the proper action needed from those messages that we're receiving, right? So our intuition is being activated. We're going to, which is also connected to our spiritual connection, right? So we'll be able to see guides, or not see maybe, but I mean, maybe you will, but hear them through our own thought forms. You know, there's many different ways to receive intuition. We have like claircognizant, which is like just a knowing. It's clear knowing. It's connected to the crown chakra. We have clairvoyance, which is the third eye, which is seeing. We have clairaudience, which is hearing. And then we have clairsentience, which is feeling, okay? So these are the things that are getting activated for us right now, is our spiritual connection is being activated. We're also having a bunch of light codes within being activated. So that little whisper that guides you in your life, that is your intuition, that good light energy that's being activated. So we're going to be receiving more wisdom from within. Like you'll get like downloads, we call them, which is like an aha moment, or you'll just like know something, or you'll just understand something. And this is our light codes being activated. Humanity's humility is being activated. So what is it to be human, right? Like, it was just 4004, and 404 represents resets. So there's that reset confirmation again. So humanity's humility is being activated, okay, guys? So, and again, this is the deep vulnerability of the heart, okay? So like, I just did a video on Friday and I was talking about like just being kind to each other. Like that kind of stuff is what's being activated within us right now. It's just that like we're so tired of hurting. We're so tired of like trying to act like we're okay or make things work or make ends meet. And it's like we're fucking done with that now. We don't want to keep struggling and to keep like treading water. Like we're ready to thrive, not just survive. So this is what's being activated, is like this heart. And that, I mean, you know, the humility is the heart, right? Is to be able to see somebody eye to eye and just feel that love between you and I, or between, you know, like not even in a partner way. Like love is love. So we're all learning like, hey, we're all getting duped here. Like maybe we should all come back together, and really unify together as the people. The people need to come back together, and the way that they want to take control is to conquer and divide. And so, or conquer and divide, divide and conquer. Um, and so what that does is it separates us from one another to make us weaker so that they can control, manipulate, and have more power over us, right? So in order for us to take our power back, we have to come back together. The people need to come back together. Whether you've been vaccinated, whether you haven't been, whether you're this, whether you're that, whatever, who cares? Let people live their lives and just know that we all want the same thing. We all want a better world. We all want to feel love and connection, right? So we're learning, we're remembering what it is to be human. Like the human spirit is like one of the most powerful and potent and like just strong, like resilient, you know, like we can live off willpower, man. Like it's just so beautiful. And when we can really be in our healthy selves and we can really live from this place of like passion and love, then oh my God, what a beautiful world it's going to be, right? So that's where we're kind of heading, right? And that's the whole idea of like the new earth being anchored, is like heaven on earth, right? So in order for us to actually anchor that in, we have to purge our heart. What is it that we hold in our heart? That's why everyone's heart's been hurting right now. And this week coming, it's because we're connecting, we're going through this portal of the solstice, right? Okay. Which this ties in perfectly with my next point, which is past life clearing and cleansing, okay? So, unexplained fears, pains, or emotions. So, if something just sideswipes you and you're like, holy shitballs, like, what the hell was that? It's probably a past life connection, okay? So you do not have to cognizantly understand. Like, you don't have to know. You don't have to be able to comprehend your emotions and where they're coming from always. Sometimes you just need to let them go through you, okay? And that's part of the contraction. That's part of saying, okay, I'm in the contraction. I really hate feeling like this, but I'm gonna surrender to where I am, instead of trying to distract yourself and keep yourself busy and then never deal with the emotion and then end up having a fucking mental breakdown because you didn't deal with the emotion, right? So we're learning how to slow down and deal with that. So you know, a lot of what's going to be happening and clearing and purging and cleansing comes from our past lives, okay? So we're learning how to just allow this to be released, trusting the universe, trusting our higher selves, okay? Because this memory is held in our DNA, our physical DNA, as well as our spiritual DNA, okay? So, we don't have to understand it, but it does need to be purged, okay? So that's the other thing about this high vibrational healing thing that I'm all about, is that when we are ready, it will surface, okay? So, you don't have to know all the answers. You have your whole life to heal, and to build a stronger connection to source, to yourself, to your higher self, to your true authentic self. So don't rush. There's no rush. It will all happen in divine timing, okay? So trust that. But as these emotions are coming up and as we're purging them out of our heart center, these are coming from past life connections, okay? So just remind yourself of that. When you don't understand your fear, when you don't understand your emotion, just trust that this is purging out of you. Don't get attached to it. You are not the sadness. You are not this. You are not that. You just are, and you are experiencing that, okay? Okay, and then new blueprint activations. Okay, so I just talked about the spiritual DNA. So this is the new blueprint that's being activated. So the 12-strand DNA is being activated within all of us right now. And so that is connecting us to the higher realms, to the light realms, okay? So, but again, in order for us to actually activate or to actually access the higher light realms, we have to shine the light on our pain and suffering in order for us to really embody it and to really step into this new earth template. We have to heal. We have to hold space for ourselves. We have to be gentle. Like, oh my God, humans have been through so much. And like, honestly, like, it's a living hell here. And so that's why we're here to transmute that and to shift it. And like, I can feel the heart of humanity right now, and it's just this giant fucking void and hole and despair and confusion and all of it, right? And so that's the beautiful thing about me starting my path a little bit before, so that I can explain to people how to go through this process, okay? Because grieving is really, really intense, and it's not linear. I mean, none of the spiritual stuff is linear. All of it is quantum, so that means none of it really makes logical sense, because it's all happening really technically simultaneously. But anyway, I won't get into that. But yeah, so new blueprints are activating through this winter solstice portal. So that's why we're going through much emotional turmoil right now. That's why that Gemini full moon really caused that like pull within us, and in that duality and polarity. And now, in order for us to anchor in the new templates, we are being asked to release, surrender, and let go of the past, right? Okay, and then truth is surfacing. So power and control of the darkness is being relieved and released. Interesting. So I just got the download. So this is happening, right? So if the truth is surfacing and that the power and control of the darkness is being relieved and released, that means that we are very susceptible to psychic attack and to emotional attack right now, okay? So that's what I was just shown. So we're like really clearing this darkness out of the collective, and that means that it's not grounded, because say like that the power that be of the darkness is harnessing all this energy, is in power, is in control. Well, that's all being released and let go of. So what that means is that the beings that are of this energy are really going to be in that energy of what I was saying, like everything wrong is happening right now, like what the fuck, they're going to be in that energy, which then is going to cause more and more of that dark energy, because they're not winning. They're not going to win. the light will win. The light will prevail. We will come back into balance, because it's not like the light takes over the darkness. We just balance it, right? We just bring it back into balance. It's like right now the dark is taking over the light, and then the light goes, fuck you, bitch, we're gonna balance. Because I can't. We live in duality and polarity. You can't take the darkness away. It's just when you get into higher understandings of consciousness and reality, you can't take the darkness away. The darkness just is. It exists. It is duality and polarity. So what happens is that we empower ourselves, and then we balance it, okay? And then once we balance it, then it doesn't have the power and control, and it's in harmony, okay? But it still exists. It will always exist in these lower realms. Okay, cool. So walking through this portal of the solstice will connect us to our Christ consciousness, crystalline consciousness, source consciousness. I just used 3 different words to describe the same idea. Basically our pure templates, okay? So as we walk through this portal, we're really being urged to heal these dark aspects of us, so that we really can connect and embody to the Christ consciousness, to the crystalline templates, to the light that is being shed on humanity right now, so that we can connect to that light and not be afraid of it. Because in humans history, we have been basically, like, the light has been demonized. So, like, fear the light. Like, no, like, don't fear the light, guys. Like, the light is a beautiful thing. And which brings me, like, to love and people's perception of love, right? And it's like, no, that's not love. That's like codependency and attachment, right? Like, we're learning. Okay, so dive in deeper to your void, so that you may reap the rewards and connect to your highest truth, okay? So as I was saying, tender heart, there is a void. It feels like a void within our heart, like, oh, like I have a hole in my fucking chest and I can't breathe. And that void that is there, we're being asked to inquire about. So in that space that you're creating, you're going to learn how to navigate that void, and you're going to learn how to fill that void with light, so that eventually it just emanates, and that void becomes a toroidal field of energy flowing, which then is connected to the infinite energy and life force energy that is the universe, right? So the reason that you're feeling this void is because you're carrying so much pain and so much suffering in your heart. And so what this healing process does is it allows for us to heal our heart. And then once our heart is healed and we start having this energy flow and connection between ourselves, the universe, other people, it creates this flow of energy. And then that void, it's not that it doesn't exist, it's that like you just recognize that it's a part of you, like that, yeah, you do have this depth of feeling, and as humans we've really been taught, it was just 52 as humans we've really been taught to not feel. Don't feel. Oh God, how dare you feel sad, how dare you feel this, how dare you feel that, you know? So now we're just learning to feel. And so that void of all that pain and suffering is now being released as well. But what comes with that release is that it needs to come up and out of us. So we have to support our physical vessel as we go through this process, okay? Learning to connect to your inner light and your I am presence, expanding and reclaiming your light. So this winter solstice is going to be really intense, not in a bad way necessarily either. Like, it's gonna have a balance of like feeling like what the actual fuck, and then feeling like ultimate pure bliss and satisfaction, okay? So it's like you'll have really intense moments, and you'll have really beautiful moments. And so especially with Christmas coming as well, guys, like that's gonna trigger a lot of emotions as well. Yeah. And I'm hearing comparing, like don't compare yourself to other people, Be present with your life and who you're with, and share that love with who you do have, okay? So that's what I got for this week here, guys. That was a lot. That was amazing, beautiful. I was really drawn to the Beyond Lumeria deck because of the new blueprint activation. So there's actually like a blueprint card in here, and that's why this deck came to me, because I was like, oh yeah, I definitely need to add this one in here. So we're just gonna get right into it. Beyond Lumeria. Oh, I just dropped one. Okay. So what wants to come through? What did I miss? Or what do you want to confirm? Whatever. Anything. Take a break. Take a break. Take a break. If you need a break, take a break. Oh, yes. Loving compassion. Gorgeous. I've never seen this deck out of this, or this card out of this deck. I'm being guided to read it, actually. Just see the couple words that come, just to generalize it. So 16, loving compassion. Okay, so loving compassion, unconditional love, empathy, compassion, care, friendliness, goodwill, benevolence, beyond duality, safe space, forgiveness, through expanded perspectives, open-hearted joy. Wow, okay, I'm going to read this because, like, seriously, this is going to confirm everything. All right. So loving kindness is one of the greatest forces available to us on earth. It has the ability to transform all. Unconditional love is the vibration most closely aligned with God or the divine. When we allow ourselves to drop deep into heart space, we feel interconnected and in a state of oneness. As we choose to direct our lives with love, all that is not real or serving us will drop away. Conflicts resolve, power struggles dissolve, and a sense of inner peace and comfort will radiate from within. Love is the root of happiness. When we can fluidly give and receive with ease of breathing in and out, we can fly freely. Loving compassion is a fundamental element in the balance of life. It holds the seeds of the new paradigm of evolution. When doing hands-on healing, this is the force we call on. It is life force energy, or God essence, and it brings healing, vitality, and transformation to everything it touches. When we manifest or affirm something into the world from a place of love, the reasoning imbued in the statement will reflect our intent. If we manifest from fear, our journey will bring all the learning needed to gear us back into love. Unconditional love transcends duality. It sees beyond reasoning and situation to allow new stories to be told and for new beginnings to emerge. It transmutes all that is out of balance back to 0 point and bridges heaven and her earth. So the divinatory meaning is this card invites you to bring more loving to the situation at hand. Whether it is toward yourself or someone connected to the question, it may imply a need for forgiveness or for seeing things from a fresh, more expansive perspective. This card is a reminder that you are loved and have infinite access to the gentle yet powerful force of loving compassion as and when you need it. To bring yourself back into your heart, think about those you love and moments with them where you have felt joy. Expand this feeling out to more and more people, creatures, and places, and the whole planet is infused with this beautiful, warm, and loving feeling. Okay, so I just need to point out right here, it says, think about those you love and moments with them where you have felt joy. Now I'm being guided to actually bring you into your shadow self here and really ask yourself, where you have not felt joy, where you have felt anger, where have you have felt frustration, where you have grieved, where have you been like all the lower emotions. Like really feel that. Like give yourself the space to feel that shadow aspect of yourself, you know? Like I have cried so deeply for so many reasons, and every time I dropped into that, every time I gave myself the space to feel my anger and just sob and release and let it out and like hold myself in that despair, like in that depth, I came out of it healed from that. And of course, we can always come back to it and go deeper and deeper. But in that moment, I went as deep as I needed. And when you give yourself that space to really go deep within and to feel those really intense emotions, and be authentic with yourself, then it alchemizes it. It allows, like, wow, you were seen and you were heard. And then that's all you really wanted. That's all you ever wanted. Okay? So that was a really beautiful card. So bring loving compassion. Bring loving compassion. What else do we got here? Beyond Lumeria. Oh my goodness, I need to go to bed. This one. Surrender. Gorgeous. Surrender. Surrender to what? Ooh, fire. Solaris Sublime. I get Kundalini energy and that Phoenix rising. So surrender. Surrender to what is coming up. Offer yourself loving compassion, and this will light the flame within you. When you give yourself that space, and then communication and co-creation with the universe, with your higher guides and spirit guides. When you guys give yourself the space and offer loving compassion, surrender to what is, it will activate things within you. And that's like that Kundalini energy rising up your spine, right? And so life force energy. An activation into the light realms, the new blueprint, new, I guess the ancient, new, old, future, past, whatever, blueprint that is held within our body. This is our body's wisdom again, right? So when we give ourselves the space to heal, we don't really need to do anything other than take care of our needs. Our body has a natural the non-natural ability to heal, and it always wants to come back to homeostasis, back to balance. So you don't actually really need to do anything other than just take care of yourself. And the root chakra, ground and center. So there you go. That's the confirmation there, is like your safety and your security, to be able to really take care of yourself, to feel safe, which is gonna connect it to the throat chakra. Express your truth, okay? So amazing. So when we are safe to express our truth, this is what's going to happen this week. We're going to be safe to express our truth because we're bringing loving compassion to ourselves and our beliefs. We're communicating and co-creating. We're surrendering to where we are at, and we are allowing for this light to activate us from the inside out. Oh my God, that's gorgeous. Oh my God, I really love this card. Like, it's like pristine. Okay. Oh my God. And then the portal keepers right here with a cat. Oh my God. Oh, life force energy too. That's a gorgeous card. Okay, let's do some fairy tarot. What wants to come through for the fairy tarot? I've really learned to love this deck. I've had this deck for a long time, and only recently have I started using it. So it's funny how that works, huh? All right, what wants to come through for the week? That one. Ego. The illusion of being trapped placing too much importance on material items, and getting caught up in fear and worry, right? Okay, so the ego is a beautiful thing. I felt like I rolled my eyes there, but I didn't mean to. The ego is very misinterpreted. It's like the darkness, right? Very misinterpreted. The ego is here to keep us safe and to keep us in alignment, okay? The thing is that we don't listen to it. So then we get into situations that maybe aren't in alignment and that actually cause us more pain and more suffering, especially if we're making decisions from a wounded space. Like, for example, I don't know, I'll just use relationships as an example. So say you were in a really bad relationship where emotionally, mentally, things just didn't flow, and then you get into a new relationship and you still act the same with this new person because you're living from those wounds and triggers, right? So that's the ego keeping you protected, because, well, what if he does the same thing, or what if they do the same thing, or what if this happens, or what if that happens? So the ego is actually here to keep us in alignment and protected, but it will also kind of trick us in a way. It's kind of deceiving, right? So kind of like, what are the illusions? What are the illusions in our reality, right? Okay, so we have 4 of autumn. Manage your resources wisely, achieve a balance in how you spend and save money, and help out those who are less fortunate. And that aligns with my message on Friday as well, where I was talking about just being kind and just helping people, right? And not financially necessarily, just like basically just being a nice person. And then renewal, review the past and the present so you can plan a bright new future, understanding your life purpose and releasing judgments of yourself and others. Oh, yeah. So I never mentioned that yet. So also too, like as we go through this portal, we are actually anchoring in our destiny, like our life purpose, our divinity. So like our soul, that's part of us connecting to our intuition and listening to the wisdom of our body and so on and so forth. So we are actually going to be activated into alignment. That's why all the synchronicities are going to be coming, right? Like, yeah, there is work to do for you to get fully in alignment, but you'll meet the people along the way that are going to be exactly who you need, right? Right place, right time energy. Okay, one more. And then the star. So look to the future with hope and optimism, the power of faith to move mountains, and happy changes that bring relief from challenging times. Awesome. Okay. Oh, I want all the decks, but I mean, I'm already at an hour and 7 minutes in. So I just got this deck back from a really good friend of mine. And so I just want to pull from here and see what kind of comes through. This is the universe has your back, just as I was reading that star card too, right? So let's see what wants to come through. And then I think I'm going to jump off after this. Okay, so what wants to come through for this week? What is the message? What is the message? The moment I realign with love, clear direction is present to me. Is that the same? Okay, that kind of looks like the hip bones as well. Like, the base, like supporting us, right? So realigning with love, right, guys? So this week we're learning how to realign with love. I surrender to a power greater than me. Perfect. So this is us trusting our higher self, okay? So when we can learn to trust our higher self, okay, like I used to always say to myself, like, Aurora has no idea what's going on, but I trust my higher self, which means I trust my intuition. And I trust the universe to always guide me in the right direction. And having that belief instead of, oh, everything always bad happens to me and this and that and whatever, all those negative beliefs, then that allows for you to just trust and to surrender to what is, and then to listen to the messages that come through as you're navigating, right? So it's, I surrender to a power greater than me. And then I'm unapologetic with what I desire and trust that what I focus on will grow. Beautiful. So where your attention goes, energy flows. Thoughts create our reality. So where is your energy? Where is your power? Where are your thoughts? Where are your emotions, right? Because all of this creates your reality. And last but not least, through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect of peace in the world. Taking our power back, realizing how fucking powerful we are, and really utilizing that in our sacred space that we're creating to emanate these beautiful healing energies out to the world for anybody that needs them, for anybody that's been asking for help. Send out love. Okay, stop talking negative about the world. Stop like being in your pessimism and in your negativity, and realize, you know what, I'm going to take my power back, because being negative is way too exhausting, and I want to be positive. I want to be uplifting. I want to make people feel good, right? So learn to come from that place instead. I said, okay, one more, right? Of course, energy flows where my intention goes. And I think that that is so perfect to end off this week. So there we go, guys. What a beautiful, beautiful reading for this week ahead of us. It's, oh, I gotta read this one. Okay. It says, attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. Okay? So if you are feeling any of that, then this is just your consciousness, your body, your mind, your emotions saying, hey, can you help me? Hey, can you give me more attention? Hey, I need a little bit of love. Hey, love me, you know? Hey, see me. Hey, hear me, right? So whenever you are feeling any of these lower emotions, you just have to bring love back into it. Wow, guys. That was amazing. That was really amazing. Alrighty. Well, I'm out of here. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I'm sending you all so much love, and I will see you next week. Bye.